Welcome to another edition of Wellness Wednesday 3 Questions. This is just my short show where I invite my guests in and we talk about mental health. We talk about, mental health topics and mental illnesses and things like that. The purpose of the show is to eliminate stigma behind mental illness, mental health treatment, and just to have an open conversation about such topics. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and ask my special guest today her first question, and that is simply introduce yourself. Who are you?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I am Dr. Cassandra Bowers. I am a recent PhD grad. I'm very excited about that. I'm also the executive director of the of All in Wisconsin. It's a communications organization that's really helping to grow communications in spaces that are for the BIPOC community, and really consider race and gender and social status in our communications and how we communicate in the state. I am also the board president of the African American Roundtable, and that organization is to help Black folks thrive in Milwaukee. And when I say thrive, I mean thrive as in having good quality housing and having mental health services, having mental health services where they can get mental health in real time when they need it, where they need it. For the Black community, and just so many other things, voter engagement, all of those things. So that is a little snippet, but I'm also very proud of the fact that I'm a mother and I'm a grandmother. I have 4 beautiful grandsons. They call me Gigi. I can never introduce myself without saying that I really love those 4 boys. And that's why I do the work that I do. And that's why I think this work is so important, because I want a better life for my little 4 grandbabies. That's
Beautiful.
Me. Snippet.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for all the work that you do.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yes, we're happy to have you. Okay, so second question. Why is mental health, you had mentioned mental health and advocacy in those areas and in the work that you do. Why is mental health important to you?
Mental health is important to me because it has to be. It is so vital. For me, it's a basic part of healthcare. Healthcare should always include mental health care, and especially in the work that we do, like the sort of attacks on our communities. Like, we can see it in the news, we see it everywhere. How do we preserve, or how do we safeguard ourselves without having resources or professionals like yourself to help us navigate a world that seems so harmful and so clouded full of despair? Like, how do we do it? We don't have the tools. I don't have the tools on my own to do that without a healthcare and a mental healthcare professional. So it's really important to be able to do this work in a way where I can be authentic and be real and then be in touch with my community. I have to take care of myself first. And part of taking care of myself is my mental ability to kind of navigate this world and be able to compartmentalize the harm, do the work, then come back and cry my tears to my therapist, and then come back and do the work, and then keep doing that, because I can't do that. I can't do it on my own. Like, it's important to me because I know I can't do it on my own. I've been to my breaking point. I've been burned out where I didn't have a professional that could help guide me through the world. So to answer your question really more succinctly, it's just important. It's just a part of our living and breathing. Like, we need water, we need food, we need mental health care. Like, it's the same to me in my brain. It's the same type of help that we need in every aspect of our life. It's no different than going and getting a checkup at the doctor or going to the dentist. You also need to have mental health care services right there at your fingertips, available for you, for everyone in the community, especially the Black community.
Yes. Thank you so much for that. I'm so glad you said that. This is the part where I say thank you, because again, the whole reason we do this show is just to eliminate kind of those fears and those stigmas, and to unlearn some of the things that have been indoctrined in our community, but also across the board with mental health. And so what I hear you saying is it's just as important as physical health. They are one and the same. And as a professional like yourself, it's important how we show up, right, in our professional spaces. And so that mental health piece is very, very important. So thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. It's difficult to talk about, in the boardroom, shall I say, or in the professional realms of, the different spaces that we're in. Sometimes it can be difficult to talk about those things, but by talking about it today, we're helping to eliminate that stigma so that hopefully more people can start to have those conversations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Last question for you. And so you do all these things in the community, and it's very important, like you said, very important how you show up. Okay. And so my question to you is, in your professional spaces, the work that you do, and all your different aspects and all your different arenas that you're in, what do you feel like what's one way where we can eliminate stigma in the professional spaces that we're in? What's one way you think we can eliminate stigma?
That's such a great question. And the one way is hard for me because I can think of several, but I think for the biggest, especially like in the boardroom or in other community spaces that I'm in, eliminating the stigma starts with being open to the conversation of having me say, today is a tough day for me. I got to throw in the towel for today. I'm not here today, and having that autonomy to that the relationship and the trust with each other to be able to say, today is just not my day. I mean, something really simple as being able to communicate whatever the word is, like having a word. I mean, my organization, the word is I'm tapped out. And when I say I'm tapped out to my team, that means it's a mental health day. I take care of myself, and Cass is going to go and do what she needs to do to take care of herself. And that could mean anything. That could mean talking to a therapist. That could mean, other things that maybe not like a therapist wouldn't appreciate, but it could just mean that I need this mental. So having one word or one phrase where your organization, your colleagues, your other board members can say, I'm tapped out today, or I need a moment, or I'm throwing in the towel, whatever that is for your organization, that's the one thing. Okay, and I'm going to sneak in one other thing. And the one other
Please do.
The other thing is I start all my meetings with a check-in. Where are you? How are you showing up today? Because sometimes you show up on a Zoom meeting and you can't turn your camera on. I would prefer you have your camera on and be able to see your face, but you can't always. You might not be able to show up the way that I would want you to, or way others would want you to. So a lot of times I start my meetings with, how are you showing up today? Give me one word. You can say tired, hungry, mad, sad, angry, depressed. Like any of those words would help me to regulate the Zoom room, and be able to help that person to be in the space as much as they can be in. Because sometimes you can't be in a space at the time someone else wants you to be. So that's the other thing. Those are the two things those are two like little tips I would give folks to make it like to show that it's important. Like all of us are going through this. We're all in a pandemic at the same time. So we all need to like realize that mental health is important, and there's no stigma associated with it. When I'm tapped out, I'm tapped out.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. What I'm hearing is that mental fortitude is important, and creating opportunities for people to talk about it in the boardroom, in the professional spaces, by having a word, a buzzword, and also creating an opportunity for them to say how they feel, just to check in.
Yep. Absolutely.
I love those tips. Love. So hopefully people are listening to this show and they can, kind of take that and implement it into the work that they're doing. Because like you said, mental health is so important across the board. Thank you so much, Dr. Bowers. I really appreciate your time today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Keep doing the great work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Yes, like what you're doing is so important, and I want to share it as much as I can. So thank you for having me, and keep it up. Keep up the great work.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. This has been Wellness Wednesday 3 Questions. If you would like to be a guest on the show, simply reach out to me. You can visit the website. It's www.ptaylorconsulting.com. You can also give me a phone call, and that phone number is 262-207-4255. 4130. Thank you. Be well and stay blessed.